Well, welcome to the July issue of our Zoom meeting. Tonight we're going to be talking about what's in your camera bag. And so we have several members who have volunteered to share with us what's in your camera bag. And I always find it fascinating. Everybody carries something a little bit different, and there may be somebody or something that you'll see in somebody's bag that you might want to add to yours. And same thing, we may want to add something that you carry that's uniquely you. So, Cheryl, go ahead and pop that off, and I will kick this off. Open. I need to pin myself because I'm recording. Hide those, and we should be good to go. All right. There's my camera bag. And I'm just going to start pulling stuff out because I find that is the best way to do it. First thing I have is an extra back lens piece. And on the other side, I have this is for the front of the camera. So if I take the lens off, I always have an extra back. And all of mine are orange. I learned this from a friend. You can buy these on Amazon. They're all orange. That way they're easy to spot. I end up losing all kinds of stuff anyway, but this is protects the camera, and they just slide like that. Easy to store. I carry a charger. This is a USB charger, and it's round like this because I usually charge I use the magnetic piece on the back of the phone. I always carry this is another thing. Usually I have in here is a USB charger. I have that in my bag. If I ever need to, I can pop that on there. What else do I have? This is my ah. Anybody guess?
Looks like a color checker.
Looks like a color checker. Bing, bing, bing. You get the Koopy doll.
Looks like eyeshadow.
So what is my color?
Your
So I don't
fall.
know. I have had limited not success, that would be limited discipline in using this. Uh, it's one way to make sure that you got a gray card in here as well. This is a way to set your white balance and then to make sure that if color accuracy is important to you, these things are very handy to have, and they're just so small. I mean, they're super thin, super light, easy to carry with you. And I carry it with me. I use it less than use it less than I carry. All right. I always carry a quarter. Any idea why I carry a quarter?
The tripod holder.
It is a great alternative to a screwdriver. Easy for these kinds of large screws. So I always carry one of these. And if I ever needed to call my mother, I could call one of these. No, that's in the olden days. When
Bruce, one quick question.
yes,
Where did you buy the color checker?
Amazon.
Okay. Is there a
Uh,
specific brand that's you
yes,
have?
the brand of somebody else who has one. What kind of brands are you using? Use the X-Rite.
I got an X right. Yeah.
Yep, X-Rite. They're
X-ray.
very Xrite.
Okay. Thank you.
They're very popular, or they make a whole set of color checkers. All right, any idea what this is?
It's an Apple tag.
It's an Apple tag. Tom, why would I have an Apple tag?
to track your camera bag if somebody takes it.
Not that anybody would take it, but Wayne, you had an Apple tag in your bag, and
I
you
did, and we followed it. We had 6 Apple tags, and we followed them to some forest somewhere. It turned out it was a gypsy camp with police outside that wouldn't go in.
yes, but this would be in case I lose my camera bag. It should be able to be easier to find, which is the intent. All right, what else do I got in here? I have this is gaffer tape. So I took the gaffer off of the big round roll and I put it on a little flashlight just because it's nice and easy, and I wrap gaffer tape around there. So if anybody ever needs gaffer tape, I always have it. Usually I offer the gaffer tape because somebody for sure they put on their 10-second timer or their 3-second timer and it's flash 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 before it clicks off, but it's lighting my foreground at night. So I will offer them a piece of gaffer tape to cover that little blinky thing. And just so you know, I have it on mine as too. So I'm not asking anybody to do anything that I don't do myself. I block that light as well. Um, extra SD card. Anyone ever forget their SD? They went out on a camera shoot and forgot their SD card. That is a terrible feeling to know that you went out there, you drove wherever you were going to drive to, extra SD card. That is handy. And then I got another extra little tool. I just got this from B&H. This is another little tool. It also acts as a screwdriver, takes the place of the quarter. So why use a quarter when you can buy something for $15? But this also has the hex tool on it, and I find that to be very helpful. Another SD card, in case I fill up that other fill up that other one, and then another quarter, and then I have this is one of those little adapters from I don't know 1/8 to a quarter or a quarter, whatever. I don't remember the sizes, but it's a standard unit of you need it for going from small holes to big holes. Anybody can help me out on what these things are called? The doohickey that changes it from a big hole to a small hole. That's what I have. Got one of those.
Reducer.
Reducer. Thank you, Russ. I knew there was a name for that. And in my other pocket, spare battery number 1, spare battery number 2. Plus, I've got one of my cameras, so that makes 3 batteries that I'm usually running out there, and that will ensure that in case one goes bad, or if I'm using my second camera, I've got extra batteries. And that is what else do I have in my camera bag? This is my intervalometer. So mine is wireless. Well, I guess it depends which bag I'm pulling out. This is my wireless intervalometer. This hooks up onto the hot shoe on my camera, and I'm able to set up the remote triggers from here. This also acts as a remote trigger, so I'm able to fire away, not touching the camera. So that's helpful when I'm doing star trails or multiple shots in a row. This is these come in handy. I have the Vello, Vello wireless shutter boss 4.0. and it comes highly recommended and works great. I've had this for several years. Sometimes the best gear is the cheapest gear. For those of you who know me know that I do nighttime shooting, and so I don't go anywhere without a headlamp. So got my headlamp on. Challenge with the headlamp, most headlamps, is that they turn on the brightest light first, and then you have to go from the brightest light down to the lowest brightness. Well, this headlamp here, this is an Arctic Core brand. It actually starts from the lowest brightness and it goes higher. That's handy. It both has white light and red light, which is handy. But even those at the lowest setting, if all I'm trying to do is look at my camera, that's where this comes in. This was $12 on Amazon. I went ahead and put it on a chain. So I just carry this one around my neck so I don't lose it. And if I need to, and it has 2 lumens. Now, most of the time, everybody's boasting about how many lumens that they have. Lumens is how bright it is. This is only 2 lumens. And it's a great way just so I can see my camera settings. I'm able to make any tweaks and adjustments, and I find that to be extremely helpful. $12 on Amazon totally changed my experience out in the field, and I can't recommend it enough. I'll put when I'm done, I'll put it's a Night Core, NITE Core. I'll put a link to the Amazon in the chat. What else? This is one of the lenses I have. This is a TT Artisan. This is a fisheye lens, and I found that I started carrying it more just because it's so small. It just happens to be in my bag because I'm not swapping it out as much because it's just so tiny. Again, notice I've got my uh, orange cover on here, but this is so handy. I mean, talk about a wide field of view. You can actually, it has a lens correction that I can apply in Lightroom that will unwarp it. You know, because fisheye lenses are naturally warped. It will actually unwarp the fisheye, which is incredible. I don't know how they do that, but this is handy. Wasn't that expensive, like $250? So it was an interesting lens to play with. All right, and then lastly, this is I was hoping this past Saturday to shoot over at Mormon Rock. I thought, oh, we could get Mormon Rock over the Milky Way. Well, one, Mormon Rock is facing the wrong direction, and two, it's extremely light polluted. So not only was it a bad idea, it didn't even work. So this just happens to be my bag because that's what I was hoping to shoot with. So that's what I have in my camera bag. So, questions on any of this gear? Well, I guess here's another light that I use, low level lighting. This is something I use for put my tripod on for my camera. But
Hi Bruce, it's Eddie here. Um, I'm curious to know what SD cards you use, like what size do you use?
my primary SD card, good question, Eddie. I'm glad you could join us. I use a 128 gigabyte Extreme Pro SanDisk. Now, I don't have the newest cameras that require you to have the extra fast SD. But 128, I have only filled this up, I think, twice in my life. Most of the time, I've got plenty of room to spare, and it's plenty fast transferring files back and forth. So that's what I use. What anybody want to pipe up? What kind of size do you use?
I have a variety of sizes, but because I am notorious for losing things, the biggest card I have is a 64 because I don't want to lose them.
Yep.
And even with the 64, I can shoot all day on a 64.
Yep. My backup cards, I have a 32 gig and a 16 gig. Those are just cheap ones that I've picked up over the years. Actually, one I forgot my card, and a photographer was kind enough. He had an extra one and gave it to me. And so I always carry this. If I ever needed to pass it on, I'm ready. Pay it forward.
So I use
Russ, you went mute.
this comes from OWC. It's a 512 gigabyte card. I also have one that's 512 gigabytes where'd it go? Here we go. That's the faster cards that act more like a drive. This one's only 128 gigabytes, but the other one, my camera, is 512. I use that in my Z8, and I've never filled it up.
That's a lot of space.
So that's
But
a half a terabyte.
with programs or with cameras getting more and more megapixels, you need bigger and bigger cards. Cheryl, you want to go next?
Sure. So what's in my camera bag depends usually on what I'm going to shoot. And so what I'm going to shoot determines what gear I'm going to bring, and then what gear I'm going to bring determines what bag I'm going to bring. So I have several different bags. One, recently due to a back injury, I now have a roller bag, which I absolutely love. And it also has a sleeve for the computer, and that comes in really handy when I'm flying because I can just check it, bring it on board with me, and I don't have to carry it. I have another one that's a pretty big bag, just a backpack, and then a smaller backpack if I'm just going to go out for the day on a trek if I'm camping or something. So, and what I bring in terms of what I'm going to shoot, like if I'm doing portraiture work, I'm probably going to bring my 70 to 200. That's what I like to do portraits with. And maybe my 28 to 70. I'm going to leave my macro stuff at home and my wide angles at home. Again, because I don't want to carry the weight. If I'm shooting landscape, of course, I'm going to bring my 16 by 28 lens and maybe my, what is this one? 16 by 28, and this one's a 28 to 70. And then of course, if I'm doing my macro, I'm going to bring my macro lens, and I have a little tilt shift macro lens also that I just got. So I'm going to be exploring with that. So some of the things, night sky photography, I don't do a lot of, but I've just kind of dipped my toes into it. I have one of the headlights that Bruce has for, I think this one turns on with, I lied, but it's got a red light and a white light, different variables. So I have some of the same things that Bruce has. I have my iPhone, put this on the tripod, put your iPhone in there, and you can turn it either way. That's pretty handy sometimes.
That looks like a nicely made one. Who makes
It
that one?
is. It's a Phil, Phil. And this thing I really, really like a lot. And Heidi, you might like this in terms of how to get up gracefully. This goes around your waist, and then you put your camera lens through here. So when you get up, it doesn't swing out, and hit on the rocks or hit things. So it's always close to your body. So I use that a lot when I'm out hiking and walking around. Some of it, like Bruce, I have extra camera lenses, front and back. I have business cards because you never know who you're going to run into. So they want to see what you do, you can give them a business card. I have this little cleaning pen. It's got a little squirter thing on top, and then it's got a brush on the other end. So I make sure I have that. I also have a bellows for blowing off dust. I use that a lot, but I think it's still in my Jeep. Didn't make it back in my bag. I have, again, like Bruce, extra batteries. So I have a little case for them, which is kind of handy. I have a cleaning cloth. And again, like Bruce, the velometer, only I tend to want to keep things simple. So it's not wireless, it's a plug-in. Oh, for night photography too, I have a heavy duty light if I want to do some light painting. And this has like 6 or 7 different settings on it. Which is it's kind of heavy, that's the only thing, but it's a great light. I bring my battery charger. I don't use a lot of filters, but the 2 that I tend to bring with me just to play with is a infrared filter, just to play with some infrared images. And the other one is just a graduating neutral density filter. So I bring those. If I'm doing portrait photography, I'll bring my flash and a little diffuser for the flash. And then if I'm
What brands?
traveling,
Go ahead and share any brands that you're using, Cheryl.
this one is a newer, the flash is a newer, Neewer. Pretty simple to use. I still need to learn a lot about flash photography, but TTL mode is pretty much my friend. And, pointing it in the right direction. And then if I'm traveling, like on the airplane, this is actually my tripod. It's a Peak, Twin Peak, I think is what it's called. It's heavy duty. It's super durable. And I'll bring this. If I'm not flying, then I bring my heavy duty tripod that's on the floor. That's over there, in the left, right of the screen. And I have SD cards like this, like Boost does, a variety of them, different sizes. I leave some at home in case I actually lose this. But my camera bags have this really thin little pocket right up on top. This just slides right into it. It's very easy to access. And then while we were doing our social time, this isn't actually in my bag, but somebody mentioned the Jackery. So I went and got mine, thought I'd show it. This is the Jackery. And
The same one.
yeah, I originally bought it because I wanted a way to percolate my coffee in the morning. But you can see it's got USB ports, AC ports, it's got all kinds of ports. And it even has a flashlight if you need to, see your way around in the dark. And so I always charge this up before I leave. And then I bring it with me. It charges my phone, my computer, my camera, batteries, pretty much everything. It'll even jumpstart my Jeep if I'm out somewhere, which is probably the real reason why I got it, because I often travel alone. So I didn't want to get somewhere where I couldn't, get out of. And then I have a couple of, like a night sky app on my phone, a couple of apps that I use. I don't use them a whole lot. But that's pretty much everything I might carry in my bag. Happy to answer any questions.
So that's a lot of stuff, Cheryl. How heavy is your bag?
Well, it's on rollers.
That's
But again, I don't I don't carry it all at the same time. So I try to be a minimalist whenever I go shoot because I'm at that stage where I can't carry that much anymore. So I really do put some thought into what I'm going to shoot and what the lighting might be. Um, if I need my zoom lens or my heavy uh, telephoto lens or whatever. I most of the time I leave probably 60-70% of what I own at home and just take the essentials.
That's terrific. Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Cheryl?
Hi, Cheryl. Yeah, I have a question. So, you mentioned the cleaning stuff. Did you find that you clean your lenses out in the field, or do you wait till you get home?
I'm cleaning them in the field because I can see little particles, especially like if I'm shooting up. Death Valley was awful. I will probably never go to Death Valley again just because of the amount of sand I got into my gear.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and I mostly just use the bellows. I'll use that bellows, and then I'll use this little brush, but I don't use liquid. I'm too
Mm,
afraid to, I might scratch the grain.
yeah. No,
Um,
thank you.
yeah, but I do probably need to do a sensor cleaning also,
Well,
which if anybody has to do that, I called Image One. It's about $110. They will do it. I haven't done it yet, but I'm thinking about
I
doing it.
sent something out on the last email that I sent had Sammy's is doing a an event both at their LA and Pasadena, and I think their other shop as well. They're doing free sensor cleaning.
Oh my gosh, when?
That would look it up. I'm
Okay,
busy, but it's within the next couple of weeks. It's they'll have the in and out truck there. I think you can even sign up for um, like models and animals, and there are all kinds of shooting things, and they have discounts and but free sensor cleaning.
nice.
Be
Yeah,
worth a
that'd be
trip
great.
out there.
what was the belt you used to put the camera in to make it easier to get up?
You know, I'm not sure what it's called. Uh, I can try and find it online and send a link. There's no distinguishing marks in it. Um, and I probably got it online. I'm not sure. I've had it for several years, but
I can
it's
use something
super.
that prevent the camera from swinging while there's a walk.
What's that?
I need something to help prevent the camera from moving while I walk, or if I'm
Yeah,
crossing a stream, I don't want that to move and throw me off balance.
yeah. And this is what that does. Like I'm constantly bending over to hang onto a rock to get to the next rock or something,
I
and
like that feature. That's a nice one, Cheryl.
yeah. I'll look for a link and send it out if I can find it.
Okay, thank you.
Carol, you talked about filters. Do you carry a polarizing filter?
I have one. I don't carry one. I don't know why, but I don't. I used to all the time until I got the mirrorless digital camera. Um, and I'm getting better with Photoshop. But yeah, now the ones that I carry mostly is that graduated neutral density filter and then that infrared filter. But if anybody else uses the polarizing filter, I'd love to
Well,
hear.
I do happen to know somebody.
Yeah, who?
Rick, you said that you would share what's some of the items that you have in your bag. So let me see if I can find you and share your screen. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Rick. All right, try saying something. Oop, we just lost Rick.
Oh, I think it froze.
There you go. Okay.
Okay,
Nope, can't hear you.
need to unmute him.
We can't unmute. We can ask him to unmute.
We can unmute.
No. Or at least the way that ours is set up, we can ask somebody to unmute, but we can't unmute them themselves. But he's on iPad.
Oh, he's SA2. Okay. Oh, I see. Hmm.
That better?
There we
There we
go.
go.
Oh, whoopee.
Yay.
So does Rick, does anybody carry a one of those filters that you were talking about?
Polarizer filters. I tell people if you're out shooting anything in daylight, landscape, stuff like that, a polarizer is almost as important to carry as the lens itself. The polarizer can adjust the sky, darken the sky, which makes the clouds pop more, brings up the oranges and the yellows in your landscape more. I always have my polarizer on.
And do you use a neutral density too?
I'll use the neutral density if I'm out shooting along the ocean, but my neutral density that I got also has a built-in polarizer.
Oh, nice.
So on one lens or one filter, I've got a polarizer, and usually I'm using my 6-power neutral density. So
What's the brand on that?
pardon me?
What's the brand?
I think it's All-Star or something like that. But it's it's got the polarizer built into the neutral density. And one of the big advantages also with a polarizer is if you're shooting water, especially a lake, a pond, a stream, a river, or whatever, usually without a polarizer, you get the glare from the sky. So you're seeing the reflection of the sky, also the rocks and everything else right along the shoreline that are wet are also, you're getting some glare off of that. With a polarizer, you can turn it and all of a sudden, boom, your glare is completely gone off the rocks, off the water. You can now see the rocks under the water, in the bottom of the stream and everything else. So yeah, I always have my polarizer on, unless I'm shooting night shots. But other than that, and the other thing that it helps also on when you are walking around, moving around or whatever, it also, I keep my hood on too all the time. I see some people shooting without their hood, but I keep that on all the time. But even more with the polarizer, it helps protect the lens. So if it moves out or swings out or drops or whatever and hits a branch, hits a rock or something like that, it'll break the polarizer, but not my lens.
Quick question, Rick.
Yeah.
Do you need the different size filter for different lens?
Yeah. I've got two of my lenses, I think the 1535 and the 2470 use the same size polarizer. And my 7200 uses a little bit different size.
Okay.
So got a separate one for that one.
And then how much does it cost each? Approximately.
They're usually right around 85, 90 bucks or so.
Okay.
Now you can get one for $25, $30, but if you get one like that, expect it not to work very well. Yeah, usually
you get what you pay for it.
Yeah. And of course they've got some that are, $150, but I've never seen a need for all of that.
And what brand do you use?
I think most of them are Teflon.
How do you spell that?
Let me check, make sure here. Hoya, Hoya.
Hoya. Okay, I
Yeah.
heard of that. Okay, thank you.
A couple of those, and I said I have it on all the time. It just does stuff with your shot right out in the field that you cannot duplicate and bring back in Lightroom or Photoshop later.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the thing you have to get used to with a polarizer, it's strongest at 90 degrees away from the sun. So if you're shooting right towards the sun and away from the sun, it's almost like you really don't have much of it on at all. So the more closer to 90 degrees away is when your sky is going to darken more, your color is going to pop more, especially when I'm in Sedona or something like that. I mean, I've had people talking to me, and I'm talking to them while I'm shooting pictures out somewhere, and I'll adjust the polarizer so it's at no strength, and I'll have them look through my viewfinder. I say, okay, look through there now, and then I rotate it, and all of a sudden they pop up from the viewfinder and look straight ahead, and I go, oh my gosh, is that much of a difference that it makes at times?
Rick, every time I hear you tell me about this, I say that I'm going to do it, and I never have.
If you shoot landscape, you need a polarizer. It's amazing what it will actually do. And things like getting rid of the glare off of rocks and water and stuff like that, you can't do in Photoshop or Lightroom. And darkening the sky, your dark blue sky all of a sudden is really dark. The white clouds pop out. And I said the colors, the oranges and reds, really pop out in Sedona and other places like that, red rock stuff. So yeah, it's automatic. I got a polarizer on.
What else you got in your bag?
Okay. Usually I'm carrying primarily my 2470 is the one that I've got mounted and that I use the most. But in my camera bag, and I've been using it more, is my 15 to 35. Gets a little bit more of a foreground and a little more difference on a perspective you can look at and be shooting. So I've been trying to use that a bit more, but I've also got my 70 to 200 lens, especially when I'm out someplace like this last few days ago. I was out the beach area and the trails were blocked off going down to the shoreline. So I had my 2470 and trying to shoot some scenes from up on the ridge. And I'm like, okay, this is too far away. Went back in my car, got my 2470 out, put it on, and then able to zoom in and get much nicer shots. So yeah, I've usually got 1535 to 2070, 200, and my 2470. But yeah, and same thing as you were saying before, your 70 to 200, you can take macro with that too. Sit back a little ways and then zoom in on something and you got a macro lens.
Yep.
I've also got my Canon. I've got a Canon R5 mirrorless. And again, I said, with mirrorless, I've got my polarizer. But I do have a big telephoto that I use sometimes. I don't carry in my bag, but if I know I'm going out somewhere where I may want to really reach out, I take my 150 to 600. And for that, I need my Canon lens adapter so I can put it on my mirrorless. So I have that in my bag. I've got the neutral density 6 power filters with the polarizer. I've also got a small wrench for my tripod. Just I know I've been out sometimes, so all of a sudden a tripod leg is really getting loose. And mine isn't one where you got to sit there and twist the legs. Mine's where it's actually got a couple little bolts. So I've got a wrench right there, boom, boom, and tighten my tripod up. Also got gloves. Sometimes, especially when I'm out in areas, Colorado, Montana, Glacier Park, stuff like that, it's hard to tell what the weather's going to be. Been out sometimes, yeah, it's nice when you in the flatlands down below, but then once you get up in the mountains, it's cold up there. And especially in Colorado, Montana, or Notorious, or you being able to look off into a distance and see a rainstorm coming towards you.
Mm.
And you sit there and you shoot and shoot and you watch it, and boom, okay, it's here. And a lot of times, 20 minutes, half hour later, it's gone and kept moving on. But I I've got my gloves if I need them. I've also got a waterproof cover for my camera bag in case all of a sudden I get out in a rainstorm, or there's been times where it's raining and I'm going out shooting pictures. In my car with me in my Telluride, I've always got a couple umbrellas. And I've been known to be out shooting in the rain with my umbrella covering myself and the camera up. But like I always tell people, the worse the weather, the better the photography. So if it's raining, no big deal. I've got my umbrella, I got my gloves, I've got a waterproof cover for my camera bag. I also carry a few spare AAA and AA batteries, just in case I need them on something else that I'm carrying. Also, like Bruce, I've got 3 camera batteries. And always before I go out anywhere and leave anywhere, I make sure all 3 are charged up. I also got a waterproof poncho in my bag. Again, you don't know what's going to come up and what's going to happen. But it also works when we were in Iceland. We had just a little bit of rain here and there, but several times we had some really wicked winds. And it was usually around 40, 50 degrees, even in July. So you put the wicked winds on top of that, and it was cold. But I had my rainproof, windproof jacket, I had my gloves on, I had my windproof pants on, along with the Levi's. So I wasn't nice and warm, but I was a lot more comfortable than I'd been if I didn't have those things on. But like I said, you just don't know what's going to happen sometimes, especially when you're traveling through the mountains. I also carry a notepad and a pen. So if I want to make some notes on something, the name of a lake, the name of a mountain, a trail that I just went on, so that later, a couple weeks later, a week later, or whatever, when I get home from my trip and I'm going through all the pictures and I'm like, oh, shoot, where was this? Where was that? What pond? Where the heck were I? Especially going to several different places in one day, taking notes. And a lot of times what I try to do too, if there's a sign, lake, whatever, I take a picture of the sign, either before or right after I've shot pictures there. If I get there, start shooting pictures, and okay, I didn't know if I would be shooting or not, then I take a picture of the sign. Then I know where I was. Trails, same thing, the name of the trail. So it's nice and easy to go back later and match up where you were on your trip. But also, like I said, try to put it on a notepad and pen too in the car. I've also carried my camera manual. It's not very big, just a small little paperback thing. But in case I'm out somewhere and all of a sudden have an issue, then I can pull the manual out and try to search through and find some way to correct whatever the issue was. Or if I've forgotten how to do something, then I can wind up going back and finding out how to do it. I carry a plastic bag just in case I have something I need to put in there, something I'm carrying. I've got a gradual neutral density filter also, just in case, because neutral density filters are nice if everything's kind of the same tone. But if you got a bright sky area, then a dark hillside and mountain area, and you're just trying with the gradual neutral density, then you can darken the sky up without affecting the mountain or hillside or the grassland or whatever it is in front of you. So it's nice to play around with. A lot of times up in the middle of nowhere. I hike miles up into the mountains in Glacier or Colorado or wherever. And again, I don't know what could happen. I could trip and fall, injure myself. So I carry some waterproof matches. I've got a pocket knife. So if there's something, I'm stranded, I'm injured or whatever, I can light a fire, uh, signal fire, put up some smoke or something like that, be able to cut up branches, carve stuff up or whatever to get to be able to burn um, and everything like that. So hopefully something helped me survive, especially again, if I'm way up in the middle of nowhere in the mountains of glacier and it's cold outside. I also have a shower cap for my camera and lens. Again, if it's raining, I can put that on there and protect it. I've got, same like Bruce, I've got several headlamps, one of them with a red light. I've got a remote intervalometer. Also got 2 Mylar blankets. For you that don't run marathons, those are the real thin, very lightweight blankets that they give you when you finish a race, and you can wrap yourself up in them. And that's what they're geared for, especially if it's raining or cold or windy. You can wrap yourself up in this, and it totally blocks out wind, rain, and helps you with your body heat stay warm. And they're extremely lightweight. It's like nothing. But lots of marathons, they hand them out to everybody when you finish to be able to put them on, warm themselves up, and stay warm.
That's such a great idea. So super light. I just ordered it on Amazon. I mean, you mentioned it. I knew I needed it. I went ahead and just got it right now.
Yeah. They work terrific. And again, they'll block wind, they'll block rain, they'll help keep you warm if you're trapped or whatever. Again, if I've got my Mylar, I've got a little fire going, that's going to help me survive. I also got the lens cleaning cloths, and I try to check my lens pretty regularly just to make sure, because especially if you're out where it's rained or sprinkled, or even along the coast, you don't realize it, but waves breaking and splashing over rocks and stuff like that create a mist. Then all of a sudden you look down at your lens, you got this mist all over the front of your lens, and you hadn't even noticed it. So it's good to be constantly checking, even after a rain. I remember one time I was walking around, it was after a rain, but somehow a drop fell off a tree or whatever, landed right on the front of my lens. So I was able to say, oh, shoot, okay, and clean it off. And then again, one of the big things I always make sure I got, and wherever I'm at, snacks. I've always got my protein bars. People see me put out my protein bars. Again, it helps you, again, if you get stranded someplace up in the middle of nowhere. But I'm one of those people that got to eat regularly. And again, that helps you, again, to survive in case something happens or whatever. And, I was going to mention, too, on your camera bag itself, I've got the shoulder straps. I remember the old camera bag I had a number of years ago, just held on the weight was on my shoulders. And after an hour or so, I remember my back would really start getting sore from carrying this around. So the camera bag that I've had for the last several years now, I got it and made sure it had the hip belt. So it wraps around, tightens up at your hip, and then the weight is actually on your hips rather than your back. Makes it a lot easier to control, a lot easier to move around, and everything like that.
That's terrific. Rick, you got one more thing? I want to pass it on to Russ.
I think that's it.
Man, oh man, your backpack must be huge.
Well, here's you see if you can see it here.
Well, okay, a little bit taller than mine.
Yeah, it's not very big actually, but it fits everything in. You can get access from the back to the bigger stuff, and then the front is where I've got the knife and the batteries and everything like that. And I want to mention I carry one card, and it's 158 gigs. And that actually got me through 2 weeks in Iceland. I had over 2,000 pictures on that one card.
That's terrific. All right. Any questions for Rick? You've
Yes,
covered a lot of ground. Go ahead,
I
Ann.
have one just about polarizers,
Yeah.
because I don't use them very much. I do so much more wildlife.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do in this situation. I was doing something out of the norm today. We're actually having like a kind of extension of our deck, and I'm trying to take images of it from beginning to end, to see the before and after.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking pictures in the middle of the day when it's bright, and I rarely shoot it. I go home at 11 or 12 and come back out for sunset. So, I was really struggling with I was the 2470 and I had a 5D, and I was struggling with, how to keep out the glare, just blinking and not make it too dark. And I was just adjusting settings and white balance and all kinds of stuff. And it just occurred to me when you were talking about the polarizer, would that have helped with the glare if I had a polarizer on the end?
It may have. Probably the thing that would have helped the most would be the gradual neutral density,
Okay.
where you could bring it down,
I have
the sky down into the area where you're getting the glare and then blocking some of that. Because the polarizer doesn't really darken your scene much. It does just a little tiny bit, but not a whole lot, especially not enough to take the glare out of the sky. And if it's got glare on it, you maybe, if you're facing the sun or the sun to your back, again, the polarizer isn't going to have a big effect. It's
Okay.
the 90-degree angle.
And it was a 90-degree angle, but
Okay.
So if I do the neutral density, it won't make the dark part, because I didn't want to bracket.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'll be there forever bracketing every little change that's making.
Yeah, you would need the gradual neutral density.
Okay.
Where
And
it's on top, and as it goes down, it lines up until it's clear.
okay.
So that way you can put the dark area up in the sky, up in the area where you're having the brightness, and it'll tone that down. But then when you get down to your deck in the house or whatever, and it's clear, it won't be affecting it.
Okay, thanks. I have them, but I haven't used them for
Yeah.
ages. So
And a lot of people
that.
more just because it's, especially if you haven't got a flat horizon, if you got a mountain or trees and you try using a gradual neutral density, well, that mountain and the trees are also going to be darkened when you pull it down. So what would probably be what most people do now is the HDR.
Yeah, I just didn't want
And
to
you don't want
bracket
that.
everything. Yeah. I thought of it, but I thought, God, I'll be here forever.
Well, it's really easy to do. I mean,
I
you
know.
just your automatic exposure. I mean, you shoot one, drop it down, three, one full stop, shoot another one, drop
Yeah,
it.
no, I know how to do it.
Yeah.
But the editing, I really didn't
Oh.
spend my life editing my backyard renovation pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, Ann, the answer to your question is shoot it with an iPhone and you'll get it perfect.
It was so true, and I did that, and I thought, gee, this thing is so incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rick. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Russ, you ready?
I am now that I've unmuted myself, so I think that's okay. So I thought, first of all, I'd show you my camera bags, just so you could see. See if I can do this right. Have to go up higher. I'm looking at this little screen here. Okay, so this is my camera bag that I use. It's a think tank. It has 4 wheels on the bottom, but oftentimes I have it packed full of stuff because I never know what I'm going to actually shoot. And then typically what I go ahead and do is I have this smaller bag that so if I go hiking or other places, I put in what I actually really need. And that's kind of what I do because I never quite know what's going to happen. So and the important thing I can't show you is I always when I go on a trip somewhere, I take my computer because I want to sit there and be able to edit the images once I do. But in my camera bag, like so already people have said, I have these nice pair of gloves that keep my hands warm when things get cold. I also take a raincoat with me. I have these real neat Tiffin filters that I can put three or four filters in. I typically keep it in my bag, but it has a little strap that you can put on your belt if you want to carry it like that. Now, at Walmart, they have these little bags. I like them because I can put an assortment of tools in it, like filter. If I get a filter stuck on the camera, I have filter rings. I have Allen wrenches in there. Oh, of course, I also have my Apple tag. So if my bag gets stolen, I might be able to find it. A lot of little stuff there. I have a second set of filter bags that I have larger filters in it. I have a neutral density, couple of those, and a polarizer. And Rick has taught me this evening about, oh, if I can get my yellows to pop, my clouds to pop, if I shoot at a 90-degree angle of the sun. Thank you very much, Rick.
You're welcome.
And then, of course, I carry with me two cameras. This is my Nikon D850. I also went out this year and bought a Nikon Z8. And so, with a lot of my old Nikon lenses, I also have the converter that I can fit the old lenses on my Z8 camera. And then, of course, I have my 150 to 600 that I like to shoot birds and planes. And if I'm far out, be able to do that with. So this sits in my bag. Typically, this last week, I went on a workshop with Bob Fletcher, and I had this in my bag. It's a 105 macro. While we were sitting at a table, we had bugs that got in our way. So I used it to photograph ants and flies that were on the table and kept coming and bugging us. So I used that, got a couple nice pictures. Then I also have a Sigma. It's a 12 to 24 a millimeter zoom lens, so it's a super wide angle. And on it, it has this really odd shaped glass that I can't, there we go. It's sharp in all the corners, which makes it nice when you're shooting and you don't have, anyway. But my unfortunate thing is I don't have a lens that goes down to 2.8 or 1.8 that's a super wide angle. So it makes it hard shooting the Milky Way. But I do have a 2.8 what is this? A 24 to where'd it go? It's a 70 to 200 zoom and it's a 2.8 lens. Then in my bag I keep well, hang on. I keep a set of extension tubes, but I also have this little thing that helps me clean my sensor. It lights up the sensor. I can look at and see if I've got dust on the sensor. I use it very rarely because of the fact that typically when I change lenses and I'm out somewhere, I always try to get into a closed environment to where I reduce the chances of getting dust on my sensor. And then of course I have a 1.4 a teleconverter and a 2.0 teleconverter that I use for my long lenses. And I keep a flash in there with some extra batteries. And then also I carry 3 sets of batteries for my D850 and then 3 sets for my Z8 camera. So I have 6 batteries when I go. Um, and that's kind of what I carry. My tripod doesn't fit in my think tank bag, and so I have to put it if I'm traveling going somewhere. I have to stick it in a large luggage bag and do check baggage. And then a lot of the stuff that's already been mentioned by everybody this evening, some of the things I have, some of the things I don't. And so I've picked up some nice ideas from Bruce and Rick and also from Cheryl. Very nice ideas. So my camera bag weighs about 30 pounds when I take it on the planes. And then I do have another think tank bag. It only has 2 rollers on it, so if I'm traveling, I like to take the full roller one because I can just push it along. And then my smaller bag has a slit on the back that I can set it right on top of the right on top of my think tank, and I've got the 2 rolling right along together, so that makes traveling a bit easier with that.
Russ, I think you have the same think tank bag that I have with the 2 rollers and that Peak Design tripod that I have.
Yeah.
This guy, it fits right in the side pocket. It slides right in. So it's kind of handy.
How sturdy is it, Cheryl?
It's very sturdy. I mean, I shoot with my telephoto lens on.
I have a Gitzo tripod that's smaller, but it's not as sturdy. It's more wiggly, but it's fine if I want to go backpacking somewhere because it's much lighter than the Really Right Stuff tripod that I have. So
yeah, you can check it out. It's a Peak Design tripod. I was wondering, Russ, could you say more about the sensor cleaner device that you have?
yeah, let me grab that. This comes from Sensor Lens Pin Loop. It's Sensor Clear, Klear, but I'll take both of them off. So now if you look at it, let's see, trying to get in front of my camera. This is what it looks like. And then I've turned the batteries around. Oh, there they go. It has a light on the inside. I'm trying to get it in front. There we go. That lights up your sensor that you can set it. And then it comes with a little wand that you can actually, if there's really a piece of dust or lint that's actually got on the sensor, you can use that to take it off.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thank you,
I
Julie, for
thought I turned
posting
around. Sometimes I've left the light on. It has these little batteries that are expensive to replace. Off all the time.
Well, any other questions for Russ? It's interesting to hear when you get the brand, 2 people using the same brand. I always find that interesting. Both about as a good of a recommendation as you can get. So those think tank bags sounds like they're a good investment.
I will have one complaint about the 4-wheeler is when you open the bag up, unlike the older 2-wheeler, the top would flop out and stay up, and you could put your stuff in the zipper bags on the opposite side. On the new think tank, when you open it up, they're still listed vertically, but because you're opening up sideways, the stuff wants to fall out when you unzip it. That's about my only complaint. I should write think tank. Maybe they'll redesign their zippers on it and send me a new one.
Go for it, Russ. That's if customer feedback is the key to product innovation. So thank you. Does anybody have something in their bag that they would like to share with us? Just unmute yourself and Dorothy, I see you have something.
A friend of mine uses these lens wipes, for her camera, and she keeps some of them in her bag, and I've started to do it. And they come in real handy. You can get them at the drugstore, and there's like 100 of them. They're good for cleaning your glasses too, and they're just real handy. I recommend them. Called lens wipe. I also recommend a little spritzer, and I put that in my camera bag in case I want to spray some flowers that I want to take a picture of.
Oh, so you're spritzing the flowers, not your camera.
Pardon me?
You're not spritzing cleaning your lens.
No,
You're
no, no.
spritzing the
No,
flowers.
this is spritzing the
Oh,
flowers. This is
portable
cleaning the lens.
rain.
I'm sorry, I'm not so articulate,
No,
especially on.
it was my fault. You did
And
great.
there was one other thing. If you live around where I live, I always take some insect repellent. And it's just a small little size, but it comes in handy.
Nice.
So those are my ideas.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Welcome.
Who else has something in their bag they'd like to share?
And one thing I did forget to mention, I also carry a compass,
Compass.
especially a lot of times I'm way out in the middle of nowhere around. And in Joshua Tree, I've been out with people who get disoriented and we start to go to the car and they hit the wrong direction. And, so a compass, especially if you get disoriented very easily, is good to have.
That would be me. I'd be the one getting lost in the wind.
Yes.
Oh, and it did check, and it's Polar Pro is the name of that neutral density with polarizer.
You said Polar Pro?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay.
Wayne?
I don't have my camera bag per se, but speaking from experience, I carry 4 cans of Fix-A-Flat, a tire compressor, and I also carry an inverter that I can plug in and then plug in my my battery charger into it so that the batteries are charging as I drive. But
Great idea.
You want to travel with her.
yeah,
For sure.
Because you don't
Sounds-
have to fill up your bag with all that other stuff because she's got it. Now, listen, I want to make one recommendation because when you suggested using the same lenses that lens wipes that you use for your glasses, all lens wipes are not the same. So study that a little bit. The one I use, which is going to be impossible to show you, can you see it? It's called Lens Hood or Hoodman. And Hoodman lens cleaners are 2-part cleaners. One part is a microfiber cloth, dry cloth, and the other one is a wet cloth. And they're designed specifically for cameras and camera lenses, so you don't scratch anything. Whereas the things we get in the drugstore, depending upon which set of ingredients, and you have to study that, but depending upon that, they are not microfiber cloths really, and so they will scratch your lenses. So be careful. These are not that expensive lens cleans. You could probably do your entire bag with one of these double combination because they last quite a long time and they're quite large.
Thank you. It's great to have options. Wayne, you had something.
Yes, 2 things. One is that I carry these in my bag. It's this is a large one. I've had a couple different versions, but this is something comes in handy when it's raining, where you stick the camera in the bag and put the lens out towards the end here, and then you can see pull this and it tightens up around the end of the lens so that it doesn't so that it kind of protects the rest of the lens.
Hold it
But
up a little
anyway,
bit more. We can't see it.
Okay, yeah, there we go. So I've got my hand inside it, and I can, look through here and take the pictures that way. But they're real inexpensive. It's always good to have them in your camera bag in case it does start to rain. And the second thing is, well, by the way, the brand name is it's called a rain sleeve, and it's by Optech USA. But there's other companies that make it that probably work just as well. And then the second thing, unfortunately, I realize I don't have one to show you, but when you're shooting children, it's really hard to get them to look up at the camera. And so if you buy one of those Pez dispensers, do you guys know what a Pez dispenser is? It's a
Candy?
little candy
Yes.
dispenser. And they always have a head on the top of the dispenser, and it could be Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck or something that kids would really like. But if you uh, set it up on the top of your camera, there's a hot shoe there, and I think you might have to shave the bottom of the Pez dispenser, but if you can get it in your top of your camera and talk to the kids, say, "Hey, look at Mickey Mouse." Uh, they will. A lot of times you tell them to do something and they'll look everywhere else. But just an idea to think about if you shoot children, especially small children. So,
Hey, Wayne, another suggestion on shooting children.
Hopefully, we're photographing them, just to be
Yeah.
clear, in case the internet does a search.
I have a couple items that I put in my bag. Can you hear me? One of them I put on. I hate when I go out to shoot somewhere and I got bugs that get in my face and my ears and so on. So these type of nets you can sit there and they fit right over a hat. And they come in this little itty bitty, where'd the little bag go? I just had it sitting here. They come in a little bag that's probably about this big, okay? And the stuff's in there real nicely. Or if you need it to come with a hat, here's one with a hat. Oh, and so there you go.
Terrific.
I'd share. I hate bugs that buzz around my head when I'm trying to take pictures and get in my way. So,
Who
and
else? Who has a tip? Something in your bag.
I got something.
Go ahead.
Well, this is how I make my solar filters. It's just, have these,
Can't see it.
see, well, it's right here. And basically, it's the screw on, if you lose your sun shade, you can buy, these screw on ones. And I get these Beta solar film, and it's glue it in there. So I have this, in my in my bag. So if I want to do a sun in the sun, I just screw it into the in my instead of having one a lot of ones you get ones that are different sizes you can clamp on. I just screw it in like a regular filter. And plus, I have the sun shield, and I still have a shade, for it, so it's not just sticking, the filter is sticking out. So,
Great idea. Homemade job. Appreciate it.
yeah, well, I mean, some people make homemade jobs of things from Home Depot, all that stuff. This is actually from a camera, camera equipment, and these are not that expensive. They're just, regular. A lot of people when they go to buy these when they go to aquariums and try to, get the light reflections off the stuff. So I had to spare some of these spare ones sitting around from a aquarium shoot, and so when we had this eclipse, I just glued some Beta film on here, made my own filters, and I have it the magnetic adapters on it. So I just with the solar eclipse when I need to take it off at totality. Of course, when I was in Texas, we didn't see much totality, so it didn't need it. But I can quickly move it and put it back on. So
Thank you. Anybody else? What's in your camera bag? Well, thank you everybody for pivoting. One last thought for what's in your camera bag is I keep these cards. These cards are Redlands Camera Club cards. You can pick them up at the next in-person meeting. Easy way. So you see somebody with a DSLR, all you have to say is, "Hey, have you ever heard of the Redlands Camera Club?" And then you just hand them a card. It's an easy way to help get the word out. It's every photographer likes to talk about cameras, and their gear, and it's not awkward at all, and they appreciate the gesture. So I would encourage you to do that. Look forward to next month's presentation. I saw a couple of things in the chat. What did we find out about Sammy's?
I know that I took the last slot available.
They
Yeah,
now
Thank
which
you, Joe.
store? Which
well,
store were you at?
I think the only place they're doing it is at LA. I was hoping to find something happening at Santa Ana, but
I
they
think they had
see.
something at Pasadena, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but
No, it says only in LA. The Pasadena and Santa Ana ones, they do have the specials, but they don't have all the events like the free food and raffle and lens sensor cleaning. They don't have
okay.
that. Yeah.
So when I sent it out 2 weeks ago, snooze you lose, guys. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. Stop recording. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
as far as cleaning an image one, I just had one done, and I turned it on Friday, and I picked it up on Monday. So